Oh, I can see my coffee cup. Very nice. Hello, everybody. We're going low pro today. I'm going to move it down here. I know that Mitch has an espresso before she works out usually. We kind of brewed ours a little bit late, so the cups are full and the coffee is hot. Let me try moving this around a little bit. There we go. Take off some of those glares. And up. There we go. You can't see the live chats. A suggestion came in to check that live chat's turned on under settings. Where did the suggestion come in?
Mandy.
Is it on like another workout?
She sent it to us personally
Oh, okay.
and then sent screenshots of just going to settings in the top corner, the little cogwheel.
Okay.
And then under there, you'll see live chat. Go to live chat. And then there's one of those little buttons that you push on or off.
So we'll post the pictures then.
Yeah, we could probably post pictures.
Okay.
If people want to know when they're right now
Okay.
and they want to try it, if you just look under settings, there's a live chat setting that has to be turned on.
Okay, maybe that's it too, right?
Yeah.
So I'll touch base. I'll send those pictures in. Thanks, Mandy. I'll send those pictures to a couple of the people who like messaged directly and said it still was not working. I was searching yesterday too. The first thing that popped up is always like that it's the host limiting the settings, but it's not coming out of our end. Obviously, because we have other people commenting too, and they kind of got into some other stipulations. So we'll give that a try. Don't mind my voice. I've been kind of coming down with a bit of a sinus thing in the past couple days, so it is here. Got a little bit of a raspy voice, but it will not affect a full day of core whatsoever. Okay, we have 7 different core moves. We're going to be focusing. Oh my God, why am I standing up? Because you're just looking at my guts. Okay, let's get down here. So you're going to be focusing on some planks. So again, if you cannot do the planks on the ground, you're going to want to start on the wall or on the bench or on the couch. So you get that nice incline. I think the only thing that I would say is the 4th move is called a hollow body hold. So if you're not on the mats with us for that hollow body hold, what we've done in the past, don't mind my head, I'm going to show you where we would, arms are up. So my arms are straight up and then I'm holding one leg out. So as soon as I do that, my abs start to engage and you're using your low core. So you're doing a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So you can see how my low back, let me give it this angle. So see how I have kind of that natural curve. I lift and I tilt my back, right? So it's almost flat into a C-spine curve. And that's what you can do for the 4th exercise if you're going to choose to do the planks in standing position, because we do have planks and then we have a couple side planks before we get into that hollow body. After that, we have 3 more core exercises. The one we'll do just 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do all 4 the same exercise, and then we'll end off with 2 separate exercises. So if at any point your lower back gets a little bit too tight, just take a break, take a stretch. We only have 15 seconds. We're going to continue with the 45-second work. So if you need to kind of bump into those 45 seconds of work just to steal a little bit of mobility in that low back, we absolutely want you guys to do that. No injuries, right? So 10:13, we have a couple people logging on. I find by Thursday, like people get a little bit tired maybe. So if people are taking the rest days, you can kind of see that in the video views too. That 1, 2, 3 back to back, it's a lot. So if you are joining us on the live, hopefully you have a coffee. I think Mitch might be there. I will absolutely be sipping on this as we go through. So if you want to start even with a little bit of stretching before, you can always move into a cat-cow. This is always a great one. Tucking your tailbone around and through. I can really get a big, deep stretch in my low back and then pushing the belly down. You can do that as well if you want to in standing position. I'll show you that too real quick. Standing cat-cow is a great modification for people who can't get onto their knees, where you tuck your tailbone, pull up that low back, and then again, push your belly to the ground and then gaze up. So that really helps kind of mobilize the lower back and the lumbar if you want to get warmed up before we start. So it's 10:14. I'm going to crawl on over. Again, planks before we start. You could go planks on your hands, right, with full extensions. You can always go under your knuckles too, or you can use dumbbells like we did in the push-ups earlier this week. You can absolutely go onto your elbows. And then if 2 knees off the ground is too much, you can always opt and just do one. So for the first round, you would take your right leg, and then for the second, for your left, and you would go back and forth. Then we'll be doing the same sort of options in side plank where you can go high if you want. Okay. You can stagger step, you can stack your feet, you can go onto your elbow, you can go onto your knees, you can extend one leg up, you can extend both legs up, whatever works best for you. I think that I won't be able to stack my feet today just because I don't have the shoes. So I'm going to have to stagger step if I'm actually able to go into a side plank. Who else is here? Bees here. Hey, girls, miss you guys. Had to stay away from weights. Oh, okay, okay, okay. We'll try with low weights on the replay. Right on. Sounds good, girl. And no weights for today. Just, you're gonna have to mitigate planks, especially if you have something going on with your arm. I'm gonna press start. That's gonna give us 15 seconds. Thanks for commenting, guys. It's so nice to be able to actually interact with you on real time. So we really want to get this whole comment thing figured out, because that was kind of one of the best things that Facebook delivered, was those real-time comments. So we're going to start in plank for your first exercise. So again, you can go high or low. I just really want you to make sure that your wrists are located underneath your shoulders. You're going to tuck your tailbone, right? So this is a cue. We did a couple series of planks in class at Elmont this week. We hadn't been doing very many planks up to this point. So we really worked on people trying to open up their shoulder blades. A lot of them pinched their shoulder blades into their spine. So I was kind of going around and pulling their shoulder blades out, getting them to expand the wrist a little bit, and then really focusing on tucking that tailbone, right? We don't want to arch our bums up. We want to tuck it and curl, and then kind of shift our hips down to the ground. So again, if you need to modify through this series, because there are 4 exercises and 4 rounds, you can always work with the hand positioning or where your knees are. We're going to transition down and go left arm onto our first side plank. So elbow under shoulder on the left side. You can stack your feet if you want. You can stay on your knees. And if you're able to, you can stagger step. We're going to pull that hip up. If you like to, you can extend your arm up, gazing up towards, and we're trying to stack that hand right on top of our shoulder. Again, oh my gosh, I think I'm still feeling Tuesday a little bit here. This is going to be a tough start set. But again, modifications, dropping down to one knee. You can even elevate a top leg if you want to. These are all kind of like small ways to make the side planks challenging off of a bent knee. So if you can't do those full leg extensions, I know sometimes too, you can feel it inside your knee when you're extending and putting all your body weight. Again, if you want to amp these up as we go, you can always do a dip and a drive of your hips. You just want to make sure that your hips stay level. 3 seconds, right on. We're going to transition down onto our hip. We'll flip ourselves over, and then we'll try it on the right side. So next time when we begin, we'll begin with our right arm, because we began with our left on the first round. So again, making sure that your right elbow's under your shoulder. We're going to pull our legs up. And again, stacking the feet. Well, I got a little bit of a bobble. Or, right, coming down onto one knee. You could even come down to both knees if you guys need. And then a modification, one knee with one leg extended up. If you are very strong on these planks, you can do both legs fully extended and the top one elevated as well. So big deep breath in. We're just kind of warming up. I want you to kind of be aware to make sure that your hips are lined up and you don't have a hip rolling forward or backwards, making sure that you don't feel pressure in your neck and trap. So that's just making sure that our elbows and our shoulders are stacked on top of each other. Body's starting to vibrate a little bit. Right on, drop it down. And then the hollow body. So that's the one that we showed you when we were standing. You're kind of making yourself look like a little curve. So you're going to roll your backs down, making sure that your lower back and mid spine are on the mat. You're going to elevate 1 foot, 2 feet. And again, you can adjust the arms back or forward. Obviously, the further back the arms, the more challenging on the core. You want to try and match the height of your legs with the height of your torso. So I'm already vibrating on this one. I want you to relax your shoulders down, right? Push that low back deep in towards your mat. I'm just thinking right now, like, I'm just going to accomplish this, and my treat is going to take a sip of coffee before we move back in to that second round, starting off with the plank. So again, if your body's vibrating, that's cool. Maybe it's a little bit tired by this point. Maybe you're able to hold the exercise so the muscles are really failing, and that's why you're getting a little bit of vibration. We just really want you to make sure that your low back feels healthy and safe, and you're just trying to hold that position. You can Roll back and pull the knees in to the chest. All right, treat time, some coffee. We'll move back into planks. Round 2. Okay, so where are you guys going on this one? Again, you can mix up your planks if you want. I'm going to go on a full extension with a soft bend. I think another cue that I saw on Elmont, yeah, it's my one class where I get to like interact with a large group of people. So you get to see lots of kind of stuff that people sneak into these exercises. People love to keep their arms very straight if they are doing a full extension plank, right? A high plank. So the big cue was make sure you have a soft bend in your elbows so you're not locking out at the elbow joints. And again, tucking the tailbone, I can really feel this wrapping around into the lower back, and I can even feel the obliques on this one. All those other planks kind of coming in and tapping all the energy resources, right? Because these planks do use full core. You can always stretch out if you have to, and we're going to transition on to side plank. So again, we're going to stack the elbow. Okay, we're going to come on up. I think the big thing on this one, usually the elbow's far away from the shoulder versus too tight in. So let's bring it up. And again, you can either stack your feet, front forward, drop it down. Okay, so we're definitely warmed up. The core temperature is warm, and we understand what we are doing right after this right side plank. We're going to flip it over, and we're going to go on to the left. So I just want you to make sure that you're not making a big fist with your right hand right now. So maybe a little bit of a wiggle in your fingers, trying to take out any of the tension and the pressure. And we want to lock that pressure and tension in on the side. So if you touched your side right now, right? Really, really challenging to keep that up. We're hitting core from all angles because it is a full class of core. I know that Emily is going to be really happy that we're doing a full class of core. Drop it down, and we're going to switch it over now on round 2 to the left side. So hopefully you're able to do the same type of move on both sides. I know sometimes we have to mitigate if we do have a shoulder injury, but we start on our knees, we extend up, and again, we're kind of really shifting into that left elbow. I want you to make sure that your shoulder and neck, that the muscle in between is soft, and if you want to reach up, again, we're just trying to reach up to the sky, and if we can make it nice and clean, we're actually trying to put our hand directly over our shoulder. So again, lots of different ways. I'm going to move that foot off of the other foot. Lots of different ways to get through these planks. You can elevate if you want to. You're going to work a little bit more hip. Ooh, look at me falling over here, right? I'm not there yet. She can definitely do that. She's super strong in these planks. I'm really focusing on just trying to stabilize onto my hips right now. And I'm really digging deep. I'm going to relax my fingertips as well before I drop down to my hip and then transition over into hollow body. I'm sweating, yet I still I still want to consume more warm caffeine. Okay, so we're gonna roll it down. Make sure your back feels great. You're gonna lift one leg, two legs, and then again your upper body. So sometimes the first round is always tough, right? Because we're just kind of getting into it. On the second round, seeing if you kind of mitigate those arms in a different position. I got lots of rock and roll happening in my core right now. Try and keep your legs extended. If you have to, you can always drop one leg down, right? Whatever you have to do to make it through. We want to say congratulations to the Discover Fitness, Discover Performance team who slayed a Tough Mudder over the weekend, right? Big props out to them. Inhale to exhale. A lot of these people a year ago said they would have never had that goal in their radar. Kaylee Russell is one that she said, you know what, because of you guys, roll it down, stretch out the back. Her fitness journey started about a year ago on a recumbent bike in our gym, and she just performed a Tough Mudder. So good for you, Kaylee. We're going to go back to round 3, making sure your knuckles are underneath your shoulders. We're going to tuck our tailbones again and expand. So I'm giving myself a little look in. See how I'm shifting backwards, right? See how my shoulders are back? I have to push myself directly over. It makes the move a lot harder. I can understand, right? I get it why people shift backwards. A lot of people shift backwards to elevate their buttocks. Takes a little bit of pressure off the back and the core. But if you sit right on top, right, that requires a lot of pectoral as well. So we definitely want to be talking about these tiny little cue adjustments, right? Making sure that you are getting the most that you can and that you're learning proper technique, or maybe adjusting from an incorrect technique. Or maybe it's just a different technique than the ones that we're showing you. That could be something too. I'm really starting to feel it into my lats now on these side planks. So back to the left elbow we go, or left hand, depending on where you're at. So we're going to lock that in, right? Keep the left hand nice and soft. We're going to extend up, stack those hips, and then choose the position on the plank. You got her. I always say it's like when I cut my bangs in the mirror, I think I'm adjusting my arm correctly by looking in the camera. It's completely the wrong direction. So round 3, okay, so again, sit into the left elbow. You're gonna feel a lot of work going on here. So if I touch this, right, all those muscles are engaged. Inhale to exhale, 20 seconds. And then we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna hit the right side. So hopefully you guys are getting a good warm up on all of these isometric or static hold exercises for core, and hopefully you're finding a way to make it through, right? We're going to drop it down. That left shoulder is definitely feeling it from legs on Tuesday. That was a fun program. Okie dokes. Right side, taking a sip. We got this, guys. Day 9 already. You guys are doing great. Shoulders, legs, hips, and here. Now, another thing that I'll talk about is my left side is much weaker than my right side. Also, coming out of plank, the first shoulder that gets it is always going to struggle a little bit more. So I really find starting on that left side a lot more challenging. This right side plank feels way better. My shoulder feels stronger. It wasn't necessarily the core endurance that was getting me. It was the left shoulder coming out of that front plank and then hitting side plank with left supporting. So if you can pull those hips up too, that's going to help you out. Right? Inhale to exhale. Hello to Nat. Thanks for touching base. I know I can't believe we met. Drop it down. In actually the first studio we had, you never saw that one, in Timmins, Ontario, when we had CrossFit. She's like, how many years ago was that? That was on 3rd. That was probably about 12 or 13 years ago when we had that studio before we moved on to the Spruce location that Lisa and I have right now. So again, super fun, super nostalgic, right? Walking down some memory lane. Inhale to exhale. So pushing through on that low back again, pulling your core deep. It's almost a C-spine, right? Where we're tucking our tailbone around and through and then mitigating. I know Monique is on the platform. Monique, do you have weights in the back of your hand right now? This girl is so jacked. God, little beast. I saw the pictures of you on the Tough Mudder. You just looked amazing, right? Inhale to exhale. Training for life, right? 10 seconds to go. Making sure everything stays safe. We want you to work hard, but we don't want any injuries. I'm starting to lose my low back, so I'm going to have to push it deep in. A little bit of a stretch coming into play. I like to recovery roll off those hollow bodies. Let's do one more plank. Okie dokes. So onto the plank we go. Elbows, right? High plank. I'm going to stay in high plank today. I'm kind of liking it. I'm just going to really make sure that I stay on my knuckles, right? You know how some days you wake up and the wrists are a little bit more kind of inflamed? I feel like I'm a little bit inflamed in my wrists today. Nothing that would stop me, but you know what? This is way more comfortable. Inhale to exhale. And again, the hands feel strong to do this kind of martial arts fist position. I'm just going to keep mitigating to tuck the tailbone, okay? Use your chest to hold you up on this one. This is your last front plank on the series, right? If you have to bring a knee down or swap it, right? You can even elevate legs on this one as well. Let's go down to our knees. A little bit of a stretch if you need, staying on the right side. Right side plank. So the right elbow is going to go right underneath the right shoulder. Okay, and we're going to come on up and you're going to shift your weight right directly into your shoulder and your elbow on the right side. So we're going to sit in here. Perfect. Now, let's go down. Let's make sure that the bottom hip and the top hip are lined up. We don't want to dip front or back. Okay. I'm going to elevate that arm. And if you want to end off with me, we can do some hip dips. Inhale to exhale. These are kind of fun too, right? Inhale to exhale. So the thing is that you're trying to drive your hip up as high as you can on these. Getting a little bit of squeezing and crunching on this. Really takes up the oblique on this one. Inhale to exhale, right? I don't think I would have had the stamina to do these on all 4, but I love doing a little bit of a finisher on this very last round. 3 more seconds, right? Nice.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can do a little pull over with the right hand to open up the side. And then we're just going to shift onto the left. So again, let's sit down into that left elbow, left hand if you're doing a high one. Big breath in, extending those legs. And let's get our bearings to start. Okay. So again, making sure that you're sitting with the elbow under the shoulder, the hips are stacked, and just choose your leg position. Okay. So this is where we started our hip dips, about 30 seconds left. You may notice too that there's a different range of motion on one side. Inhale to exhale, right? Where you can get a little bit higher on one. I'm going to wiggle those fingers again, taking out the pressure in my hand. So we don't want to have a big gnarly fist on this. Let's recalibrate the right hand over the right shoulder. 10 more seconds on this, right? Your last little finisher, squeezing as you drive your hip up. And let's bring it down. And let's finish off with hollow body. So hollow body, and then we're going to move into a boat pose, extension, boat pose. It's 2 positions. It's 1 move, and we do that 4 times. We're going to roll our lumbar down. We're going to extend 1 leg, 2 legs, and then, again, go for your finisher. The finisher on this usually means, where are the hands? Trying to put them as far back as you can. You can hear my voice shaking. I exhaled, and my voice quivered. I can feel that my body wants to fall to the floor. So I'm going to just pull this up for a sec, stretch it, and then relay it down right there. And again, I'm trying to get this elevation of my core away. So I'm trying my best to pull my belly in so it's not elevating up, right? Those deep core muscles working for us on the last 3 seconds. We're going to pull the knees into chest. You can rock slightly from side to side. Let's push a recovery roll, and I'll show you the next position. So we stay here for 4. We just repeat. Okay, so boat position, have us lay back. Our heels are in front of our knees. We're going to extend out and then pull in. So it's a very small extension and pull. So you don't want to sit too far back. You just kind of want to extend your legs out. Right on. Right on. So we're extending and back here. Extending and back here. So we're trying to stabilize our torso as much as we can as those legs extend out. So that's the hard part, right? Because we are doing double crunches at the very end of the program. So this is boat pose, extension, boat pose, extension. You got her. 10 more seconds. The key to this one is understanding that when we extend our legs out, we're trying to use our lower body, our lower abdominals, I should say, and try not to get into the hip flexors. So we're trying to take all the work out of those hip flexors, move them into the lower core, and make, I can feel that.
You're supposed to extend up or out?
Whatever works for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want your bodies to be moving too much because we're going to do those double crunches at the very end. So it's an isometric move, really. And we're just straightening out our shins. Right on. Good job. So in the gym, we have machines called leg extensions. So that's kind of mimicking a leg extension, right? So wherever you're starting from, you're trying to marker off your heels too, right in front of your knees. This is probably where your hip flexors might start to ignite. So we got to go low belly on this one. We got to pull up from the insides and just focus on those leg extensions. You got her. I can really feel all the muscles too in my front core working on this one. And round it forward with a little bit of a stretch. Those are tough, man. Whew, 10 seconds. I'm so glad we filled the coffee cups to very full today. We're going to lay back 1 foot, 2 feet, and extension and here. Now, you guys know, too, that if you had to, you could mitigate. What we're trying to do, though, is keep those thighs the same height. You can always swap it up with 1 leg. So now as things start to fatigue, it's my hip flexors that are pulling in. So one of the cues are, if you had a Kleenex box inside you, I know, follow me on this one. So the Kleenex box is in your pelvis area. I want you to pretend right now that you're pulling a tissue up using your inside wall muscles. Okay, so I need you to draw up And then see if that activates the low belly a little bit more. We talked about pelvic health actually in class because people had some questions about pelvic health. And that's a really great cue of elevating your insides by drawing upwards instead of bearing down. It actually helps with bladder control as well. So all these little tiny things, right? Inhale to exhale. So as the body changes and the body ages, which is fine, like it's something that we want. We want to be around for the body to age and change, right? So full extension that we just kind of mitigate. And sometimes we find like little gold nuggets that we can add to cues and exercises to help with some of those more common issues that people are dealing with. Inhale to exhale, 14 small seconds. Again, it's going into my flexor, so I'm going to pull it back from inside, right? Drawing upward, 3 seconds. You got her. All right, so we're going to go on to our tummies now, and we're going to do some hyperextension. So you can either keep yourself up for the 45 seconds, or you can lift and lower. Your forehead starts on the mat with your hands at the side. I want you to elevate from your thighs, look up, and then if you want, you can rest your head. If you want to do an isometric, you can hold the movement. Okay, so the movement, shoulders are down, but then they're back into your spine, and your hands are just resting on the mat. You're squeezing your glutes and using your low back to elevate your legs, pulling your thighs off the floor. Your gaze is leading up to the ceiling, so your eyes should be up, 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 and that's going to help open up. Inhale to exhale. So again, you could be coming down to rest your forehead and then coming back up for a pause hold, or you can just do an isometric, meaning you're just holding the movement, and then we're going to push up and through. Now we move into the double crunch. So the double crunch has us on the floor where we pull up and then lay back down. So we're going to come up and lay back down. Okay, so ways to mitigate the double crunch. You can hold. So see how there's so much movement now, right? You can drag your feet if you need to. You can do one leg at a time if you want to. Okay, so this is it. So we're going to lay down, kind of looks like the hollow body, right? And then we're pulling up and through, trying to fold ourselves in half. And again, while we're doing it, we're trying to pull our core deep in towards the mat. We inhale, exhale up, inhale, exhale up. And we're trying to keep those heels nice and high if we can, coming up into what looks like the boat pose. You got her, right? Building on some of these moves. And if you want to move a little bit quicker, just try and get the biggest range of motion that you can out of these. You got her. Good job. Flip it over for round 2. Hyper extensions. I got to slow down on that coffee now that I'm on my stomach here. Hyper extensions, and then back into double crunches, right? So we're going to rest our forehead and then pull it up. So because we did so much core today, we definitely want you to be stretching afterwards. I know a good chunk of everybody, they're warming up a little bit before class, which is awesome. I used to love doing that too, right? Hopping on something for 10 or 15 minutes, just getting that sweat and getting your head in the game of what's to come. And then you're really ready to roll on these. But we also want to cool down and stretch after. So warm up is great. We do them in class as well. Stretching, we really need you guys to do a little bit more. And just be mindful tomorrow when you wake up, that lumbar might be pretty tight. Get those thighs up, up, up. Rest it down. So the lumbar is that low back region, right? So you just want to be mindful tomorrow when you wake up, because it might be a little bit tight on you and we don't want you to pull your back. We want you to continue to stretch. If you do have rollers, this would be a great roller day. We're going to inhale and exhale up and through. So again, you can keep your feet apart on this, or you can squeeze your knees together, whatever works for you. You can do one leg or two, right? We're going to lay flat down and then pop it up. And again, we're drawing from upper and lower core. I want you to relax your shoulders down and keep your chest open and just rep these guys out. You got her. We have about 15 seconds left on this, right? Nice extensions and then popping it up and through. And again, trying to pull that belly down in towards itself. So trying to draw it into the spine. I'm going to try and clean up my heels here. They keep falling. Everything's burning. You got her. Let's flip it over. 2 more rounds. So that means that there's 4 exercises in total. So moving on to round 3 for the hyper extensions. Remember, we hit everything today. We hit obliques, low back, and front. And we went deep into those core muscles. A lot of people don't have a hard time getting their torsos up. Okay, it's the leg portion. So we want you to try and keep your legs as straight as you can, right? Try not to bend at the knees. A lot of people bend at the knees thinking that, oh, my shins are off the ground, so I actually have the right position. Well, you really don't. You need to keep your legs straight and then push your pubic bone and hips into the floor. That's why we definitely want extra cushion when we do these hyper extensions, because I find my pubic bone really drags it down deep into that ground. So I don't want you to think about the pain of your pubic bone. I want you to think about trying to elevate the legs and the torso, pull the shoulders back into the spine. Right, let's drop our heads down and push up and through. You can do a little bit of a stretch, shifting back. And again, if you need a little bit more time before we move into the double crunch, take a little bit more time. Starting in about 3 seconds. Okay, we're going to extend and we're going to pull up and through. So again, if you are just so advanced on core right now, you could be holding a weight in between your feet, right? That would add a little bit of weight on here. I find that my own legs are, they're weight enough right now. Inhale to exhale. I want you to take the stress out of your shoulders and let them melt down to your ears. And then just try and pull again your shoulder blades back so your chest isn't rounding forward. Working whatever range of motion. I want you to focus now on your legs. Do you feel like one leg needs a little bit more help? Right? Sometimes pulling up and through, I can feel that my right leg's a little bit tighter than my left. Stretching it out. One more round. Okay, hypers to doubles. Yep. And then we're going to be doing a little bit of stretching on the mat. Definitely some cat cow, right? Definitely child pose. But before we get to that goodness, let's finish off with some of this work. Thighs are up, gaze is up, shoulders are down, shoulder blades are in. And I just want you to try and get as much height as you can. So if you reach back, you would feel, excuse me, the coffee's pushing up. You would feel that low back, those upper glutes. And again, by pulling up, you're going to really work those muscles that run along the spine. Oh, spine health, right? We can't get enough of it. Pull the head back, gaze up. I think one of the biggest things to work on is posture, right? So you're not rounding forward. We want to stack that head back over between your shoulders. Again, lift up the legs, squeeze your butt. Come on. I know it's uncomfortable. That's why we show up together, right? Drop it down, palms up by pits. Push through. You can shift back for a little bit of a stretch. And let's finish off on the last round of double crunches. Okay, so last working round, we'll do a little bit of stretching. We'll encourage you to continue stretching after this is done. Okay, so let's rep it out. So again, how are you going to make this the best round? Maybe you can think about extending all the way down and popping up, right? So big extension and up and through. Yeah, so that's a bigger range of motion. Maybe you want to focus on speed, so you're going a little bit quicker. Maybe you want to keep the muscles in tension and pulse out from here, right? They all have different degrees. Okay, so whatever works best for you, meaning that you feel challenge, okay, but you're able to mitigate the exercise. Again, I'm trying to pull those heels up. My hip flexors are firing off. You have about 6 seconds left to go, right to the end. Come on. And let's put the soles of our feet together for a second. Let's put our chins in our chests and just allow the crown of your head to fall into the ground, and your belly can fall front forward as well. Inhale to exhale. Yeah, so the core days are big. Some people love them, some people hate them, right? We're just honest. We're just honest. We don't all feel the same way about doing a full class on core. I want you to roll your back up. The thing with these full classes too, though, if you find that they're a little bit too much, let's flip over. You can always just, meet us where you're at. And if you don't want to do all 7 exercises, make sure your knees are wide. Shift your bum cheeks back into your heels. Extend your arms out and rest your forehead to the floor. then maybe you can choose the first 4 or the last 3, or you know what I mean? Like maybe it's a bit too much. You feel like you don't want to bite that off right away. Maybe you're coming back off an injury, right? So you can absolutely pick and choose and maybe work your way up to getting a full class. Let's push ourselves up. Okay, let's put our hands, right, or our knuckles or our elbows. You can really even do cat cow on your elbows. I'll show you. I want you to tuck your tailbone. So see how the movement starts at the tailbone? You're going to round up. And when you're ready, roll back down with your chest leading it and gaze up. Right? So you're going to tuck your tailbone, round it up. I'll go up onto high hands. Look up, press your chest, and then follow. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. Head down, chest down, gaze up. Last one, tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, pull the shoulder blades, gaze up, chest down to the floor. And then we're going to leave you in a child pose to finish. So again, buttocks to heels, arms front forward, and then forehead onto the mat. Right on. So we do recommend, if you can, to continue to stretch. If you have one of those rollers, I know Kim has 18 of them because she kept ordering the wrong length, but this is a great spine stabilization. I think I'll bring some up for us to roll on after. Same thing though. While we're shutting this down, you should be making your shake. So you should, even though I know there's a question, look, it was just core and I want my core to show, so I'm not going to eat. No. That is the wrong answer. I am so sorry. We eat to get lean, and these are muscles too, and we want them to grow. We want them to get stronger. So what we want you to do is go get your meal, and in between it, bring it to the floor and stretch it out, because that's what we'll be doing upstairs. Thank you for doing core with us. We will be back tomorrow. No pun intended. It's back. Okay. Yep. So we'll be back with back. And just so you guys know, hey, so hard, but I love core. That was Tori. Yeah. Just so you know, we will be starting with gorilla rows. Yes, you're welcome. No problem. That's what we're here for. Have a great Thursday, guys. See you later.